Hey guys, Carson here from the Rip Ranch. I'm out moving cows today, and I thought I'd do something a little different today and go into something I usually don't go into. Okay, I was watching Ranching Sodak the other day. If any of you guys don't watch that channel, you should. It's really entertaining. And he was doing some questions and answers, and someone asked him how you get started. If you just wanted to get started ranching, how you get started. He gave some really great points. And sorry, I'm out of breath, man. That's what happens when you're fat and out of shape. But so I thought maybe I'd go into that a little bit. I want to talk about how you actually become a rancher. Many of you might think, if you watch my videos, that I've come from an established generational ranch where I actually did not. Yes, I'm a generational rancher, but my ranch is all started from my dad, me, and my brother. So I would like to tell you kind of how we did it and how I think it's sustainable to start your own ranch or farm now. Okay, the reason I wanted to do this, and I know that because I know from what I do for work, sorry, I'm walking in rough ground, is that there's a surge of people who want to raise their own food, who want to be part of the food system. People all want to have their own ranch. They want to be farmers. They want to do kind of the opposite of what's happened where family farms have gone away. These people want to, and maybe you are one of them, want to join the food system, but when you look at it, it seems extremely daunting because there's so much capital. The problem with ranching or farming, very capital intensive. And then there's very, very small margins, very small return on investment. If you go to the branch and say or the bank and say, I want to buy a ranch, they're just going to probably just laugh at you because it's not something that you do just to make some money. Sorry, the light is awful, and that's why I'm a really poor content creator, because I don't pay attention to those things. So there's an old saying in ranching or farming that says, if you want to have $1 million from ranching, you better start out with 2 million. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I don't think that's always the truth, and I have not made $1 million. So don't ask me how to make $1 million. I haven't made $1 million ranching. So, but I think it's attainable. I think people can literally join the food system. They can really start producing meat. They can become ranchers. They can become farmers. You're just gonna have to do things a wee bit different. But all the girls moved. Love when they get moved to a pasture. They just, it sounds like they're inhaling the grass. I kind of pushed them a little hard on the last piece, trying to get some rank feed. Okay, I think a lot of this next part of the video is going to be me just sitting here by the fire. Here's my view. I know it's a lot of seed heads. If you watched a couple videos ago, you know why it is. But it's a good view. You can see it's windy, so I'm trying to stay out of the wind. Okay, the first principle I want to say is if you want to be a rancher, and I'm going to say rancher, but I'm going to mean farmer too, okay, guys? Is you better have helped someone on their farm or ranch, especially if you have very little experience. Or even if your grandpa had a farm, or even if your dad had a farm and you didn't help much, you better find people and help them for a couple of years, literally a couple of years. You better be out there helping them calve. You better help them build fence, all those things that you can't learn on YouTube very well. And just get knowledge and a background. You really need to find mentors. And what sometimes people will pay you day wage to come help them. But honestly, if you're just starting, you better count yourself lucky if you're just willing to go out and help, because I'm sure you're not much help at the start. So first, find mentor. Find you a mentor, go help them, spend every time you had the opportunity to help them. I've helped mentor people. A kid, 16-year-old kid wanted to be a cowboy. And he came and helped me, and then he's done agriculture stuff. And anyways, find someone to mentor. I'd love if someone wanted to learn anything from me. I'm not very helpful, but I would love it if someone would come just tag along every once in a while, want to learn what we're doing. Step 2, I'm going to show you a different view so you're not all looking at my ugly face all the time. I'd say step 2 is you should be consuming tons of learning content about what you want to be in. So if you want to be a cowboy or a rancher or a farmer that raises grass on cows, depends on what part of the world you call yourself, but you better be listening to every single podcast you can find. You should be reading every book, watching every YouTube video. You should become an expert by just doing those things. And it's possible, but you have to have the background from going to the ranch first. Remember, first part, go to the ranch. Second part, consume content. And that's the best. So I'm going to tell you 3 podcasts I'd recommend right now off the top of my head. Number 1 is the Grazing Grass podcast. I think everyone should listen to it. He talks to ranchers of every scale, and you should listen to it. And then join his community called the Grazing Grass Community on Facebook after you listen to it. Second's the Herd Quitter podcast. Third's Ranching Reboot. I think those are all great, but like I said, I love Grazing Grass because the community is so great. Next step, I'd say, is we're in this little scenario. We're saying that we are not very rich. We got $0, okay? So don't start by going and trying to get a loan for 100 cows or 200 cows or 300 cows or trying to fill a big lease. Start small, guys. Get a couple bottle calves. I started with a loan when I was just in college to buy my first 5 cows. And so start small. Start with some bottle. If you don't want to go get a loan because you're smarter than me, start with some bottle calves. Go get a couple bottle calves and raise them. And yeah, start small. When you're starting small, also don't quit your job, guys. I love that when I was watching the episode that spurred this of Ranching Sodak, he said, don't quit your job. Hence, me and my brother both have jobs. We have not quit our jobs, okay? When you're starting and growing, don't quit your job. This is your second job for quite a while. Third one, or fifth, I don't know. I can't remember my points, okay? We'll go over them at the end. But you're not going to be able to buy land. Like I said in the scenario, we started with $0. You'll probably have to lease land. And most of you will then say, well, Carson, I can't lease land. No one will let me lease land. You are going to have to lease the land no one else wants to take care of. And I'm coming at this with 100% experience. My first farming experiences are from, my first leases were all like 1 acre pieces behind people's houses. And the first time I rented pastures, I was putting in pastures that had no water. I had to haul water to them. I had to haul water to my cows up on the mountain for 3 years. Like, you're not going to get the good leases. Those come along after people get a reputation. You don't have a reputation until you go do it. So you're most likely need to start with a lease that is the most garbage lease, the most garbage property, the most crappy fences. You have to haul water. And if you're going to wait for the perfect opportunity, you're never going to do it, okay? So don't go and start trying to think you're going to go get some big lease, 1,000-acre lease or 500-acre lease with no experience and no background. You might get the lease, but you'd surely lose it. So get some really, whatever you can get. The cool thing about some of those leases is they're the cheapest leases. So you have a lot of leeway to figure it out. Like I said, again, sorry, I'm going to say like I said a lot, but I'm re-emphasizing that is exactly how we did it. When I bought my first 5 cows, the guy down the road let me put some cows in his little pasture that had no water in it. And I got a IBC tote and would haul water to him every day. And that is how I got started. Is that sustainable for me now? No, I would hate to have to haul water to my cows every day. Then the next thing that happened is we got some leases up on the mountain. And guess what? I had to haul water some more. I live in a desert. So that might mean in your area that the lease has no fence. That might be your first start. But you're going to have to start somewhere. So start leasing whatever you can find. Those are the basics. Those are like, oh, man, you'd think this 1998 Foreman would have a better spot to sit that's out of the wind. But that's kind of the basis. But I'm going to tell you where I did things wrong. I might sound like I'm bragging because we did things wrong. So first I'm going to tell you the story how we started. My family has been ranching in Utah for quite a few generations. I don't know, 4 or 5 generations. But what happens, and this is fine, this is how it works, is not everyone who is ever part of that family will be able to get the ranch. So both sides of my family, my dad's side, my mom's side, had ranches. I got tons of experience working on my grandparents' ranches, and then we didn't get them, which makes sense. We, you know, only certain members of the family can get part of the ranch. That's fine. But what my dad did, I'm going to tell you what my dad did, how he started. He, like I said, he didn't get part of the family ranch. He went and joined the military, was a cop, but he helped my grandpa all the time, enough that my grandpa said, hey, Kurt, why don't you go buy a couple cows? So he had 7 cows, and he would run them with my grandpa. The opportunity came up to buy that permit up in 7 Mile, the beautiful place that I go move cows. And so he was able to then buy that with my grandpa, letting him run cows with them. You know, my dad bought his own hay, and he worked over there and spent a lot of time. And I'm sure there's going to be some old ranchers who maybe won't let you do that, but might let you use their chute or their working facilities. Because guess what? If you're starting from zero, you're not going to go be able to buy you a brand new chute. So you better have connections, friends, that guy that you helped for 5 years for free that will let you do that. So my dad did that. And then when my grandpa passed away, we moved over to Richfield, where we were able to buy a small portion of property, which we call the river pasture. After that, I bought my first cows. My brother bought his first cows, and we each had 5 or so cows. And then my dad had like 20 cows. And now we're up to, oh, I don't know, over 100 cows. And I'm not doing that, saying that to brag, because if some people, 100 cows seems like a lot. 100 cows is not a lot. Definitely not enough for 3 of us to make a living on. But I'm telling you this because my dad did all those steps that I'm talking about. Then we picked up leases. That's where it all started. So don't feel like you were, yeah, that's just how it all started, guys. You're going to have to start small if you're going to start today. You will not be able just to go buy a functioning ranch unless you've got $2 million, okay? First off, before I start lecturing you guys again, this is absolutely peaceful, and I love it out here. And the other thing is, you're going to probably have to catch a few breaks. Like, for instance, my in-laws bought this 10 acres I call Haywoods. They let me farm it, but I would not have been able to farm it if I didn't have my dear friend Chad that let me use his tractor for a couple of years and his baler. And so you're going to have friends. I couldn't have gone and bought a tractor and a baler when they asked me if I wanted to farm their property. I had to have Chad. So you're going to have people like that. You're going to have to find your own person that has helped you. Again, like I said, my grandpa helped my dad so much, and Chad has helped us all so much. He's literally made it possible for what we're doing. He's let me borrow his tractors and his equipment as I haven't been able to buy it. So then one day, now when I can sometimes afford one, I feel so grateful that Chad let me borrow his swather for 5 years, or his mower, whatever you guys want to call it. But I'm so grateful because I couldn't buy one. And so you need people like that. I love Farmer Tyler Ranch's videos when he borrows his old boss's mower, swather. That's what it's going to have to be when you get started. You're not going to be able to buy everything yourself. Okay, I'm going to tell you where I went wrong. When I bought my first 5 cows, I went and got a loan. I went and bought just very conventional cows from the auction on our classified ads. And that was a mistake. If I was to start it all over again, guys, I know this is going to be my opinion and only mine. I would literally go buy cheap cows. And what I mean by cheap cows, I would not go to the auction probably and buy cheap cows. Because cheap cows at the auction usually have lots of problems. Anytime I've bought cows at the auction, now I feel the ability to get cheap cows, but a lot of times they're the ones with bad bags, bad feet, like I can see them. If you go there blind, you're going to go buy some really cheap cows that are going to be really expensive because you're going to lose your shorts. What I mean by cheap cows, I really think if I was to start all over again, I would go buy Coriani cows and put on a beef bull on them. And you might think, well, you'll get killed at the auction. But first off, your feed costs would be really low. Second, you're getting into the industry is about half. So I'd go buy some Coriani cows, maybe some roped out Coriani heifers, go buy me a beef bull, do that, and then after generations, I'm going to have like an 8th Coriani in them, which will bring some efficiency, and and good udders and good feet, things like that. So that's really what I think I'd do. If I was to start over again and I got a lease, let's say I got 20 acres, I'd go buy me some Corianis and then get me a nice bull to put on them, nice beef bull, whatever breed I want to go for, and I'd do it that way. The other thing I did that was completely wrong, man, some of you guys are probably tired of looking at this ugly face. But the other thing that I did was completely wrong is I tried to do it. I tried to ranch like everyone else who had a ranch in their family for 5 generations. And guess what? If you're starting from scratch, you can't do it. You just can't do it. So I've had to do things differently. I've had to learn how to do things differently. I've had to listen to those podcasts. I had to read books. I've had to go to conferences. I've had to find mentors in that space. If you know me, every day I'm looking for people to call. The other day I just called. I've been so frustrated with our Dastrips farm and the water infiltration. I called a guy from Nevada that I've heard talk before, talked to him about it. He gave me another guy's number that I'm calling that lives down in Utah that can maybe help me with some water infiltration problems. So anyways, that's what I would do. That's what I did wrong. I tried to ranch like everyone else. You can't. You're going to have to do your own thing. You're going to have to think regenerative. You're going to have to think cheap. You're going to have to buy you Corianis. You're going to have to do whatever I'm saying. You can do it the other way. I've done it, and there's lots of stripes you earn when you do stuff like everyone else. I've had to change doing that. The last 5-6 years, we've really changed doing things like everyone else, and I think we're finally becoming more profitable because of it. Anyways, those are some things. So let's go over the list of things that I would do again. So first one is you've got to find your mentors. So I'm gonna tell you who my mentors have always been. So first one was my grandpa. He was awesome. He really taught me a lot of things about farming and ranching. My uncle, Darren, that I've helped a lot growing up, and then Chad. Okay, those were my mentors. Maybe some other people. If you mentored me, don't feel like I've left you out. I forget. So that's number one. Find you some mentors. Number two is then you need to go and help those mentors. Be on their ranch, be on their farm, do things for them. If you're getting paid or not getting paid, go do it. Go get some experience. And then the next part, number three, man, it's almost like I can't count. Number three would be you better start becoming an expert. Listen to podcasts, books, read books, go to classes, go to conferences, go connect, do that kind of stuff. Build a network. Okay, now you're ready to start. Remember, we're starting small and we're thinking differently. We're going to, instead of just go buy the most expensive bred cows at the auction, we might go buy some cheap Corianis or something like that. Remember, when I say that, I'm saying it with a caveat, because some cows being cheap is going to give you more problems. Don't buy bad bagged cows. Don't buy bad footed cows. That's why I'm saying buy some Corianis, because they don't have those problems. Anyways, buy them, and then you're going to have to do things differently. You might have to rotationally graze where the guy next to you can get away with not, because he can go put fertilizer on his field. You can't afford it. So you're going to think differently. And then you're going to continue to never stop learning, because you're never an expert. And so those are some quick tips. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this kind of stuff, I'd maybe like to do a video where I do this, break something down once a month. I'd love to talk about seed stock and cows and kind of more of my philosophies if you guys are interested. I don't know, but I just want to tell you thanks for watching the Rip Ranch. And if you're starting a farm and you want to reach out to me, feel free to reach out, send me a comment, we can connect. I feel so much empathy and love to people that are trying, because I tried it and it's really hard and it can cause you lots of problems, but lots of great things happen because of it. So anyways, again, thanks for watching the Rip Ranch, and just be jealous that this is my view. Sorry, well, some of you guys, this weed might cause you a lot of stress, but it was something growing. It was nature's cover crop. Thanks for watching, guys.